Meanwhile, a series of meetings are happening in the power corridors of Delhi to ensure India's readiness to counter any threat from Pakistan. And this includes the threat of cyber attacks. In fact, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is believed to have chaired a review meeting today evening to assess the cybersecurity preparedness of India's banking and financial institutions. Remember, this comes at a time when there are growing concerns about potential threats of cyber attacks, especially considering the rising tensions that are soaring between India and Pakistan. What we understand is that this meeting is expected to bring representatives from several key institutions, including public, private banks, Reserve Bank of India, the NPCI, which is the National Payments Corporation of India, the backbone of India's digital revolution, also the Bombay Stock Exchange, the NSE, and several other institutions. And this is all to ensure that they are working together with different sectors to ensure critical infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and also financial services infrastructure is protected from cyber threats, especially from Pakistan. Joining me now is Saket Mishra, former IPS officer, also former investment banker turned politician. We also have V.S. Nappinai, who is a Supreme Court lawyer. Thank you both of you for joining me on this broadcast. Saket Mishra, to you first. We are talking about economic security, sir, and you understand this better than a lot of people I know. Economic sanctions are often seen as an alternative to war, but they often do not have that kind of desired impact. In that regard, does it help for India to continuously lobby against Pakistan to be put in that grey list of FATF? Do you think that will also help India achieve its objective?
Good evening. Absolutely, it does help because if we can actually shut down the movement of funds into Pakistan, which are coming from, I mean, it's not just terrorists, but also the drug mafia internationally, the illegal arms mafia internationally, all that money tends to sort of get transferred one way or the other into places like Pakistan, from where it is used for nefarious purposes. So lobbying to get them into the grey classification, which they should be, I think is an important idea. And it's not the same thing as international sanctions, because what this does is it basically adds an impediment to any transaction in the financial system, international financial system with Pakistan. So it's an economic cost in terms of adding delays, adding cost to every dollar that comes in or out of Pakistan.
Right. Ms. Nappinai, also we're talking about cyber attacks now. How important is the safety of financial systems in India at a time like this? Explain to us in very basic ways what kind of threats are they actually prone to?
Well, yes, our financial sector is one of our essential services. And if you look at any cybersecurity policy, it usually targets how our cybersecurity posture should be with respect to those sectors which have been classified as essential or critical sectors. So if you look at, if I could just give you one example, targeting financial sector is not something new. Nearly about 10-12 years back or more, one of the countries faced a severe cyber attack, and it was almost like a show of power against them. And one of the things that was targeted was the financial sector first, and the media and the government agencies. So when you're talking about cybersecurity, and India does have a cybersecurity policy and a strategy document, but it's critical now for us to also have a cybersecurity law or policy in place, which will set out on normal days as well as these kind of critical situations what should be our posture. Primarily, when you look at essential services, there are three targets always, and which is national security, economic security, and individuals. So primarily, we are now talking therefore about economic stability and individuals taking care of themselves. With Pakistan, obviously, targeting not just national security, but coming down to the individual level, each one of us has to contribute to national security by ensuring that we play safe. That means we will use one, preventive and protective measures. Two, we will use logic and will not forego it in clicking the malware which will be hidden in various links. So don't get carried away with things which may also carry the tagline Operation Sindhu. Right. Just because it says you're going to give some information about it does not mean that it contains it. stick to reliable sources, and finally, God forbid if you fall victim, don't panic. Under any circumstance, don't panic. Have a backup resilience mode, and this is really going to be critical for the financial sector, for economic, it doesn't, even for private sector and economy, and for each of us as individuals.
Right. Saket Mishra, can you also explain to us the importance of cyberspace in modern warfare? Because clearly there's a military action that's happening, there's diplomatic offensive that's been launched, but we get so much information and also misinformation on the cyberspace. Clearly the front lines are being reimagined now, isn't it?
Well, they're being reimagined, that's true. And I think the cyberspace, especially with the development of AI, where you can generate pictures, deep fakes, all that can make a huge, huge difference. But I think the real issue is slightly deeper, which is the challenge that Pakistan has today is that it is being ruled by or effectively being controlled by a person who has no logic. So they are not today, the real risk comes today from the fact that the general does not care whether the country gets ruined or not. The army there is only bothered with keeping their control of the entire economic space. I mean, their army effectively controls between 10 to 15% of annual GDP. That's the kind of oligarchy. So therefore, yes, the cyberspace is important. It's generating a lot of fake news. A lot of that, luckily, also with advances in technology, can be checked or fact-checked actually almost immediately.
Right.
So it's important, but I think the real issue is the economic desperation of Pakistan today. Because they really have nothing. It's a bankrupt state, and it's a bankrupt state which has been bankrupted by their leaders. So the real off-ramp for that country has to be where they tell the generals to sort of take a hike, and the people come up and start to have a normal economy.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Mishra. Thank you, Napine, for joining us on this broadcast. And like both of you said, while there are new front lines, it's also important to understand that the core of this issue also is the intent of the people who are governing, who are at the helm of Pakistan.